Hi everyone, this is Dr. Christina Rahm, and I'm talking about Root U and the ingredients that are in some of the formulations that we have. We do not make claims, so as a medical disclaimer, we do not tell people what to do. We do not give medical advice. We can review things as a company, but there's not any kind of predicting or promises about any of our products. So when I read this, I want you guys to make sure you understand this is only for educational purposes. I really like to educate people on the different ingredients, so I think that's very important. You should always talk to your doctor if you're on anything or you have any questions that pertain to these products. You should not use this information for diagnosing a health or fitness problem or disease. We do not claim to treat, diagnose, mitigate, prevent, or cure diseases. I always say we like to get the root of the cause. There's only one healer in the world, and it's not me, and it's not other doctors. People go to doctors and professionals to really help them with their body, and they are in control of their body. So this isn't a magical thing, but we don't ever want people to think that we are telling people what to do or giving any medical advice, because we do not do that, and we also don't claim to cure anything or prevent anything. So let's talk about stress awareness. This is something I know I understand because all of us experience stress. As a mother of four and as a scientist and running different companies, especially focused on Root, there's always going to be stress. There's always going to be things that bother or worry me and worry you all. And I always try to relate to people that are, it's not even that I do relate. You know, I've been a stay-at-home mom at one point. I have worked in different parts of the world, and I have a lot of stress just like you guys do. But I say this constantly, whether it's the stress of keeping the house clean and cooking, and I mean that, or whether it's the stress that I'm under, we all have stress, and they're all different levels. So stress is really a natural response to any challenge or demand. That's why we all handle that response differently. But your body can go into fight or flight. The endorphins can start working, and then you can actually cause a triggering of event from stress that has an inflammatory cascade. On the first slide, we talk about what is stress. Not all stress is bad. I always say this. Acute stress sometimes isn't, but chronic stress is really hard to overcome after a while because your body, like I said earlier, is constantly worrying about what to do. It's like fire, fire, alarm. And as you guys know, if an alarm goes off in your house, you're scared. If it keeps going off, and you can't stop it, then it really bothers you, right? It gets on your nerves, you get a headache, you don't know how to deal with it. It's the same way for the cells inside the body. They're talking, they're communicating, and if the inflammatory cascade goes up, then those cells are constantly stressed and in basically a fire of their own, and they can't calm down. So you've really got to figure out a way to get rid of it. What are common stress? Work can be a stress, financial issues can be a stress, family members can be a stress. A lot of different things can cause a stress in your life. So you really have to understand all of us have it in one way or another. Even being lonely and not having people around you can cause a stress. How the body responds to it. The hypothalamus in the brain really detects stress, just so everyone knows, and it releases different chemicals and hormones that really impact the body. This signals the pituitary gland, and as someone who's had a pituitary tumor, when you have a tumor or something in the brain, this can really get off track, right, and can cause additional issues to the body. But a normal person, it really triggers the pituitary gland, and it releases ACTH. And when it releases that, it stimulates the adrenal glands. And again, the whole body is going into this cascade where it's communicating fire, fire, stress, stress through different chemical agents. Cortisol helps maintain the body's energy by increasing blood sugar. However, and other things in the body, but however, if that stays on high alert, again, you can have a problem. Activation of the sympathetic nerve happens along with the pituitary and adrenal during this, and when that activation happens, it causes additional stress, which goes throughout the body from this kind of interaction. Again, your body is a city. When it starts having issues, the whole body gets involved to try to solve this issue. So stress is a major factor in your life. Don't ever underestimate what it does to your health, because it can do a lot of negative things to your health. How the body responds, again, your adrenaline goes up, your cortisol goes up, your norepinephrine increases alertness, and this is good, but again, if it's continuously in this, you can't act in a productive manner. So stress long term is not positive for the body. The fight or flight, which is what I talked about earlier, you have your increased heart rate, you have your rapid breathing, your pupils are dilating, everything around you is changing. The blood flow is restricted. I want to say that again. The blood flow in the body is restricted. So what happens at that time is your body is not handling things in the right way. So stress is something that can be a major condition. It can cause a genetic, epigenetic, right, in the body. Everyone worries about viruses and parasites and fungus. Everyone worries about bacteria, but you should really worry about stress. That's why I always say, whoever you're around, whatever you're doing, understand that your cells talk to each other and they talk to other people, and you do need a peaceful, stable environment so your cells will thrive. The physical effect of chronic stress, immune system suppression, that's a big deal, right? When the immune system is suppressed, that means it's not really working effectively, and then other things come in that go into your body and cause things that are like autoimmune disorders and diseases. Digestive issues with IB and ulcers are also something that happens. Reduced nutrient absorption. When you have an ulcer, or you have IBS, or you have Crohn's, or you have any of those diseases that are related, then the problem is your nutrient value is not the same, because you're really not processing it effectively, because your microbiome is not working. And we all know this, when the microbiome isn't working in the gut, you got to worry about the heart, and then you also have to worry about the brain. Cardiovascular strain with high blood pressure and cardiovascular events is a major problem. I know even when I travel all the time and I'm working all the time, constant stress can cause my blood pressure to go up. It's been an issue I've had since I was in my early 20s, and it's something I'm constantly working out or worried about. So working out, sleeping, lots of water, proper nutrition can help with all of this, and it's really important to recognize that. Physical effects of chronic stress. Again, I talked a little bit about this earlier, but muscle tension, headaches, the chronic stress can cause sleep disturbances. And then remember, hormonal imbalances along with GI and again, cardiovascular and also cognitive functioning issues do occur because of stress. The emotional and mental impact of chronic stress are anxiety and depression, mood swings, irritability. These are all signs and symptoms that occur with people that are going under chronic stress. Not everyone experiences all of these. Again, we're each our individual person, so we all manage this differently. And as a psychologist, I used to look at what kind of things do we each put in place to manage stress, because we all have coping mechanisms, right? And that's very important to develop. The mental and emotional impact of stress: brain fog, burnout, fatigue, reduced emotional resilience. I want to focus on that for a second. When you have this constant stress, you're not even able to process things emotionally or mentally the right way. So for those of you that are in relationships with either your children or your parents or a significant other or friends, understand this. Your emotional, mental, psychological relationships are not as good when you're under constant stress. This is another reason I always tell people, don't judge others. You don't know what they're going through. People act differently when they're under stress. Again, they develop coping mechanisms because they can't deal with all that fire going on in the inside of their body, so they try to cope with it. The long-term health consequences are even worse of chronic stress. Autoimmune disorders, chronic cardiovascular, I already talked about those, diabetes, chronic disease, accelerated aging. So as someone that's written patents on reversal of aging and on looking at different types of aging and how we make it go slower, longevity, right? It's one of the things I talk about a lot. Stress is a major impact on that, or has a major impact. Like a lot of people will say, Christina looks horrible on a video, or she looks so tired. It's true. There are days I'm tired, just like you guys. There's days I don't look great, just like everyone that's part of this group. We all are not perfect, right? But the truth is we want to get rid of that as much as we can and have a positive, healthy environment we're working with. Long-term health consequences, again, weight gain, memory, cognitive. There's more and more that I could go through. Fertility issues with men and women. A lot of people say that they're on products I've worked on and that they have increased fertility. A lot of it is if you can get the inflammation down, then you can really help yourself with stuff that has to do with long-term living and short-term living. So whether it's fertility or weight gain or chronic conditions, or whether you're dealing with autoimmune disorders, you got to take stress out of it, because you can get stress out of the body, then your body does better. And I say this constantly. I'm not the only scientist or doctor that's worked on different formulations. I am someone that's continuously worried about humanity, and being able to get rid of the stress by taking the toxins out of the body, supporting the body, is so important. Signs you may be stressed: emotional, physical, behavioral, cognitive. Those are all like changing your appetite, racing thoughts, fatigue, frequent headaches, lack of motivation. Sometimes if you're sad or you feel a lack of happiness, it's just because of stress. And I say this a lot. Here's another problem that's added on top of that. When you have heavy metals in the body and you have other environmental triggers added on with stress, it's just a constant fire. Everyone was worried about LA and the fires, and I was too. It's still impacting that state. You still have arsenic, you still have things everywhere, and that's been a major impact on the entire state. But remember this, your own body is under attack, and you have to take care of your body. So you really want to take the fire out and support the body. I meet with a lot of people that have cancer and autoimmune disorders. I never make promises, but one of the first questions I ask is, are you stressed? And then if they say yes, I say that's one of the first things you have to get rid of, because you can't expect to be healthy and be under chronic stress. That's why when people ask, I say all the time, these products are made to really help every person be their greatest. The formulations I work on, I really want to take the trash out of the body and support the body internally and externally. But I do understand that people are all going to die. Like, we all have health issues. What you want is your body to work at the best it can, and that means getting rid of the stress and supporting things overall. But that doesn't mean you're never going to be sick. That doesn't mean things won't happen, because again, we're on a journey in life and different things happen, whether they're health issues, mental issues, emotional or psychological. Our job is to support each other and to help our bodies be as healthy as they can be. Healthy coping mechanism. I talked about this earlier. Regular exercise, deep breathing, meditation. I know a lot of you guys do that. It's really important. Yoga, adequate sleep, balanced diet, social support, time management, and setting boundaries. My flaw. It's really important that everyone understands, if you don't manage your time and if you become stressed because you have too much on your plate, that does impact the body. So even though you want to give 100% of yourself, please make sure you have quality of life and you balance everything around you, because your body's important and you are very important. Unhealthy coping strategies. We all know what those are. Nicotine, drugs, alcohol, undereating or overeating. I tend not to eat when I'm stressed. Isolation, not wanting to be around people. I have a little bit of that, just to be honest with people. When I get stressed, I really need quiet time. My reason for that is, though, I need to process what I'm going through. I need to meditate. I need to pray. I need to really focus on the right things to do. And that's what I want to encourage this community to do. You have this one life. You have this one shot. Do not let stress, which is like a fire, take over your body. Always maintain what you need to balance your body out. For me, I need peace. I need stability, I need sleep, I need water, I need to work out, all of those things. That doesn't happen on a daily basis. The reality of my life is it's very busy, like a lot of you on this call, but I want you to know there is a way to balance it out. Don't give up. Make sure you make your body a priority, set boundaries, eat right, sleep, and make sure you're giving your body the nutrients it needs. When to seek help for stress. If you have an inability to cope with life, if you don't feel like living, if you have so much anxiety that you can't breathe, if you're having a lot of health issues, you really need to get help. And a lot of times it's through a psychologist or a counselor or someone that's a coach helping you get through those things, because you do need to lean on your significant others when this happens. You can't stay isolated. You need support, and you need to understand that. So reach out to someone or find someone that can support you if you're under this kind of stress. Stress management programs are another thing. I talked about the counselors and the psychologists, but there's all kinds of things online. You just need to make sure you find your niche and your groove and really who you need to work with. Everyone's different, so you get to make that decision on what you really want. Tools for building resilience. you've got to do, again, your whole mind balance. So meditation, again, prayer, I can't emphasize that enough. Working out, really balancing what's going on in your life. Take the time to do the things you love. Spend time with family, spend time with friends, but make sure that you get the physical, mental, and emotional support you need so that you can lower stress in your body. It's extremely important. So I never claim that the products we work on fix anything, as you guys know, but the goal is to get to the root of the issue, to really take the fire out of the body, right? You want to try to get things into a peaceful, copacetic mechanism so your body is really working like a great computer or a great machine. That's what's so important. I love Clean Slate because of the ingredients, so I'm going to just talk about the ingredients. I think silica is so important to help detoxify heavy metals. Just to reiterate, when I worked on the silica, it was a zeolite, and I took the silica out, and I really wanted to clean it, because the problem with zeolites and silica is it can hold on to heavy metals. Your body, though, is composed of silica and water. The earth is orthosilicic acid and water and all this stuff that's going into it. So really what you want to do is make sure that you're focusing on your body and getting rid of the things. A lot of people will ask me about doing different types of like chelation therapy, and again, or hot plunge or cold plunge or IVs and all those things. There's different things for every person. My basic was I just really want to help people clean the inside of their body. Instead of making soap, I made Clean Slate. And the real ingredient that was so important was at first the silica for me, but then adding upon the trace minerals was important as well. The goal was, again, to get everything down so the body is producing things in a right manner. There's nothing wrong with cortisol. There's nothing wrong with hormones, but the problem is you've got to keep them in balance. And I talk about that all the time. From the day you're born, your job is to keep your body in balance. That's really your goal. You want to be stronger than any virus or bacteria or parasite or disease. You want to be stronger than anything because you are the CEO or president of your body. So you've really got to give yourself what it needs. I used a concentrated seawater and a sorbate to really work on that and to transfer and to communicate throughout the body. I wanted vitamin C's and minerals because I thought it was so important to really, while you're cleaning, to support the body. That was extremely important to me in the development of the products that I've worked on in my formulations. The second product that I think has ingredients in it that could help people is Restore. I use a lot of black cumin seed oil, resveratrol, apple cider vinegar, aloe vera, D-ribose, and a lot of different things. Your turmeric and raspberry ketones are really important to me because, again, you have the same goal. Get the bad stuff out, support the good things in. I have people that criticize some of the formulations that we have because they don't understand why they're so different, even though they work for them, right? And my answer for that is one of the key things I do is making sure I'm sourcing things right. I have patented processes and trademarks around all the manufacturing processes, and I'm making sure that we are systematically getting better and better as we grow. My goal with every ingredient I work in is to have the best in class that I'm sourcing and then work on it with these patented trademark technologies so we can produce things for people that are extremely helpful for their body. And again, not making promises or not making claims, but saying we want each person to be the best they can be and be as great as they can be, because every person is important to the success of this world. Zero In is something that for me was really important to help support the body so that it naturally can help with neurotransmission. And so being able to give the body these key ingredients, I really did look for things that were unique and had not been used and sourcing them from places sometimes where there was only one in the world. Using pine bark and using velvet bean and using L-ceatine and L-tyrosine was really important. It helped me figure out how to balance it. People ask me, why did I put vitamin D3 into this particular formulation? And again, it was really important. I knew that looking at L-theanine was important, but I also knew that adding different catalysts and vitamins and minerals was important so that it would really help with the whole body. We all understand how important the basic minerals and vitamins are. We don't understand that some of the stuff we pick up at a store or pick up at a at a store or even at a pharmacy over in Europe, maybe they're not particularly good. We don't know how they were manufacturing. And I never talk bad about competitors, but I think one of our secrets are that we worked so hard to make sure that we're really producing things that can give the body the great tools it needs to fight off the things that are not good for the body. Natural barrier support is a basic vitamin and mineral, and so it was really essential to work on that. I wanted people to have something because of colds and viruses and different things that go on. So using zinc and D3 and vitamin C was really important. Why do people like D3 and zinc and vitamin C? It regulates mood. It helps with inflammation. We have to be careful saying that this will fix everything, right? But there's lots of NIH articles that talk about these basic vitamins and how supportive they are of the overall system. Again, you're giving the tools the body needs to fight other things. ReLive Greens was extremely important because to me, everybody needs greens, or almost everyone needs greens. People know that I really hang my hat on this particular formulation because I've used grains throughout my life to help me, and I've had cancer and Lyme disease and different things that have implicated my body, and they never really go away. And this is really hard for people to understand, but once you have cancer or autoimmune disorder or Lyme disease, you've got to keep that signaling down so it never comes back or so it doesn't spread. So to do that, the greens are really a tool, again, that I hang my hat on because I know how important they are. But making sure you have clean greens, making sure there aren't GMOs, making sure it's organic and kosher and halal, and everything that goes along with that was so important to me. And this particular formulation is extremely important, I feel like, to people's daily lives. We don't get enough vitamins and nutrients and minerals in a lot of the grains, and we don't know, even if it's organic, what kind of seed was used and planted in that soil. So making sure that everything's clean and everything's processed and it's manufactured and formulated in the right way was extremely important to me with all these formulations. Immune Defense Shield, again, the ingredients inside of it have a lot of benefits. To me, it was really important to work on a NAD-quercetin model that also integrated vitamin D, vitamin C, and magnesium because I wanted to be able to give the body the overall support it needs. Telomeres, mitochondria, all of the cells, your cellular health, it has to work together. So you have to make sure you're supporting the overall body. Give Me Back My Youth was really important for the whole gut microbiome. And again, this isn't just for the gut, it's for the heart and the brains and making sure they're communicating right. I think the key to that, a lot of people are on collagen and colostrum, but making sure it was a purely sourced product and then making sure that those ingredients are delivered in a cruelty-free way was really a focus of mine. And then making sure that we could do something for the mass population. I am looking at launching a vegan type of collagen. Hopefully we'll have that out by next year. I'm told not to make claims on what we're coming out with, but I am trying to produce that because I do think a vegan collagen is important to a lot of people. When I worked on Sculpt, my main job was to use ingredients and to formulate it in a way where it would really support the body. I used valerian root and ginger root, and I used a lot of astrologillus and membranous that would really help the overall body. There's other key ingredients in there. Again, your goal is to support the adrenals, support the cortisol system, support everything, and that's your goal. So when you have sugar and carbs, you have to be careful. So when you try to block those, your body manages those better. There's a lot of people that are using things in the pharmaceutical world as agents that help with that. You're using a lot of the glutides and you're making sure that these peptides are really working together, but you have to be sure when you're using those what the delivery system is because some of those agents can have side effects. So my goal was to produce something natural that would help with almost every area. When people look at Sculpt, they think weight loss. And I said this from the very beginning, it isn't just about weight loss. It's about making your body function to an optimal manner. Crush. Again, we talked about peptides. Peptides, there's so many different types, and I used a sequencing format in a formulation because I wanted peptides to go into the body as a building blocks. Peptides hold on to toxins, so my goal were to get rid of the toxins in the peptides, do a formulation that would really support the overall body, make sure that it gives the body the support, because people think peptides and they think of their skin, which is true. We have a skin care line, as you guys know, that have those in it. But also your inside of your body needs peptides, and some of the injections and some of the IVs can carry toxins as well as some of the powder formats. So it was really important that I take all those things out and produce a formulation that was positive for the world that we could launch in 90 countries. Clean spirits, I can't talk about that enough. People drink when they're under stress. People do other things they shouldn't do either because it hurts their body. So for me, Clean Spirits was something really targeting liver metabolism, which we were trademarked for in the United States, wanting to make sure I had a patented process to help the body get rid of these toxins, whether people were drinking or doing other things, understanding that organs were so important. That was the goal with the key ingredients that were put into Clean Spirits. A lot of people think Clean Spirits and they think alcohol, but that was not the intention of the overall product. It was part of the intention. Using NAC as a precursor was so important to me because I wanted to make sure I could establish a format throughout the body, and that really worked. And you're going to see a lot of stuff coming out, mark my words, in the next 2 years that has NAC that really is going to probably step up even in place of NAD. So stay tuned for that. I think you're going to see that in the healthcare community. The Xoted powder support is something that I don't talk about enough. You guys need the vitamin B complex and vitamin C to support the body, whether you get it from this particular formulation or something else. It's really important. But again, I focused on really cleaning out the specific ingredients, sourcing those ingredients right, using a process that's patented in the manufacturing to produce this particular formula was extremely important to me, because understanding how important your organs are to your body is something you need to know and understand. And your job is to support the organs in the body by getting the toxins out. When I did the patents around Clean Spirits, there were 3 different products I worked on: Good Morning Minerals, Xoted, and the Clean Spirits. And I think a lot of people just hang their hat on that liquid, but that's not how it is. All 3 of those products are really important to the overall body. When it pertains to stress, if you say to me, I don't know why it matters to take Good Morning Minerals, which has the magnesium and the calcium carbonate, it's important because, again, you're giving your body the tools it needs to support wherever the symptoms are. And with stress, again, it's a fire in the body, so you've got to get it out, right? It's really simple to me. I understand, but I'll say this, it's really hard for me to manage stress in my life, so being able to take products for me is extremely important. I was sick like a week ago for a day, and I made sure that I took all of our products, and I doubled the dose actually, because I was really trying to get my body, and I don't recommend that for other people, but I was trying to get my body back in tune. Taking the root products does not mean you're going to cure anything. It doesn't mean you're going to solve everything. What it means is you're giving your body the tools it really needs to have the best possibility of really doing better and being greater and being the best person you are. Stay tuned for our next Fruit You. Send me any questions you guys have. I can't give medical advice, but I would love to have anything that you guys want me to answer. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day and an amazing week.